How many of you have heard the term sustainability? How many of you have heard the term sustainability but don't necessarily know what it means? Well, if you are indeed one of those individuals who do not know the true definition of sustainability, never fear. Today I'm going to give you a brief historical context of the idea of sustainability and when it became prevalent in the United States, as well as a brief definition of the term. Hopefully the information that you learn today will help you to understand why the issue of sustainability and environmental policies have become so prevalent in politics today. But first, a definition. The United States Environmental Protection Agency defines sustainability as something that creates and maintains the conditions under which humans and nature can exist in productive harmony, that permit fulfilling the social, economic, and other requirements of present and future generations. Essentially what this means is that today's citizens need to be aware of the resources that we are using on a day-to-day basis, because these resources might become scarce to our future generations because of the manner in which we are using them. But in addition to providing a definition, the United States Environmental Protection Agency also gives us a brief historical timeline of the idea of sustainability, and it's actually quite recent, the idea itself. In 1969, the idea of sustainability became prevalent in political discourse through the passage of the National Environmental Policy Act. Essentially what this act does is define the term sustainability and recognize that the idea of sustainability is important in all political discussions from that point onward. In 1970, the idea of sustainability was furthered through the foundation of the Environmental Protection Agency. And the Environmental Protection Agency's role has actually changed throughout the past few years. At the beginning, when it was founded in 1970, the Environmental Protection Agency acted as sort of watchdogs. What they did was they made sure that businesses and large corporations did not excessively pollute the land, and that they followed the laws outlined by the Environmental Protection Agency plan, just like the Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act of 1970. But now the role of the Environmental Protection Agency has actually increased. They've become more innovators than controllers, coming up with ideas of how to become more sustainable throughout the years and sort of be proactive instead of combating the pollution that we are already creating. But here at St. Ben's and St. John's, we have come up with our own definition of sustainability. And that is meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. And we do this in multiple different ways. We use the architecture of our buildings by providing more windows, which in turn provides more natural light and natural heat, so as we don't need to spend that money on those additional resources. We also use high efficiency washers and dryers so as to cut down on the amount of water that we use for our loads of laundry. We also use ceramic plates when we get our meals, as opposed to styrofoam dishes and plastic containers to package our meals. We also use hand dryers instead of paper towels, and we participate in multiple recycling competitions and national campus conservation activities. So those are just a few ways in which the idea of sustainability has become prevalent, and also a few ways in which we can limit our waste and become more sustainable as a society. But I also included a brief definition of the term, which essentially means that we need to watch the resources that we are using and hope that we can cut down on our waste so that the future generations also have access to these resources. So thank you very much.